quote from my dad. I put it on my bio for most things. Don't live a life that's complicated, live a life that's complex. Like, don't limit yourself. Don't think about yourself as, I'm an accountant, I'm a salesperson, I'm this, I'm that. Don't identify yourself with one thing. So the year before moving down to the States, and it's interesting because it's not a thought I've gone back to very frequently. So, but I had the best year ever. I had recruited just shy of 10 people, right, into the team, and I had beat my record doing into 100 sales in just the summer, and that to me was a huge accomplishment. And I'd brought on people who I was getting super close with, and the following year, that team had, even with me away, it had grown to nearly 20 people just in Canada, over 20 people. And that was without me even being there helping. And so, but what I would do in those times is I would work in the summer, in the off season, I would really enjoy life.
Right.
I would know when to work, and I would work super hard in that period of time.
Right.
So, and then I'd flip a switch,
and then just
I'd buy a flight, I would travel, I would, take up my photography, I would be recording videos while traveling or not. Like there were times where I decided that I just wanted to be in the moment, and, meeting people and making friends that like I'm still so close with today.
Yeah. You were better at that than I was. I was just willing to fucking grind. I was just so in it. It's crazy. I loved it. I loved the competition. I loved every moment of it. But yeah, I got to a point now and I was like, I'm no longer loving it.
It was strange though. And so my contrast is when I went down to the States was the culture kind of shifted, and it was like, no, you're going to work every month and maybe like a small window of time you can go away. And at the end of that trip, you're probably going to feel pretty bad about the fact that you took that time off, and you're going to feel like you're behind because that's this culture that's around. And I don't know, like it works for some people when you're super in it, like you can do that grind. But I think that like for me, it was like the reason I could do the door-to-door sales and the recruiting and all that was
you took time off.
I took the time and I really connected to myself, and I grounded myself in my why and what I was doing. And I would always come back from those trips very deepened. And when I stopped doing the things I really dedicated myself to other people's systems and other people's lives.
It didn't work.
And it ended up using 10 times more energy.
Yeah. Just getting yourself to do it. Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah. Because
I think so many people get to that point. And like it's crazy because we felt that, and our job's pretty flexible, like direct sales. But imagine like 9 to 5 every day. You don't get, like we could just take 2-3 days off a week if we wanted. Yeah. We have that luxury, but I know so many people that can't, like they have to call in their boss, and their boss will be like, no, sorry, 9 to 5, you got to show up, right?
Yeah.
So imagine how other people feel. We had that luxury of doing a hard-ass job, but we could take a day off or two per week and not get scolded or fired, but other people can't do that. They get literally fired.
You gotta love Gary Vee for like just how like, I don't know, I have even mental blocks that I have to work through where I'm just like, where like I feel like I like to believe that it's never too late, but the feeling of time running out and like time working against me also gives me a ton of urgency to pursue things. But I just like where he is like, it's never too late. Like just start small, do whatever little thing. Like if it's a 9 to 5, you can just literally go pick up free things on Facebook Marketplace and resell them. And it's just once you start doing things in your own
you get out of your own way. Yeah, you get out of your own way.
Yeah. And I think that's really cool that he does that. I mean, his content has never been overly applicable for me.
Right.
But I just love the undertone of like...
Exactly, yeah. Gary doesn't resonate with me personally, but I know what he's trying to say, and I think that does. His message resonates, but he himself, he's not, I need the little cracked, I need like a hard, like a military kind of guy. Grant works for me because he screams everything, so it just makes sense. But
that's so funny. Yeah, Grant doesn't resonate with me.
It's the opposite. Yeah, Grant just, it works because it's like Grant challenges that, I don't know, whatever it is. I'm just naturally very competitive. You could say like my personality is fit for business, so then Grant is a businessman, so it just kind of works. Whereas you're actually very different than me. You're very like actually more like flexible and open and not as much like get shit done, which that's why Gary probably resonates with you a little bit more, I'd imagine.
I would say
probably even someone else that resonates a little bit more. David Goggins does not resonate with me at all, though.
The one
He gets like zero love from me. I don't know.
Really?
He really, I just
So I
can't
love
see.
David Goggins. I love him, but there's also like when I'm all in. So like I remember I listened to David Goggins. I've read his book twice. Can't Stop Me or something. Can't Hurt Me.
Can't hurt me. Yeah.
And I mean, I resonated with it because obviously extremely different lives, but there were certain things about just like I had my self doubt. Like I truly believed growing up that I was going to become a statistic, that I had every reason to become a statistic in the circumstances I was in. And I just really wanted to rise above it. And so I resonated with that, and just like, you're in a situation where all odds are against you, and the only option is to fight like hell. And so to me, that's why I resonated, is because like I would just focus on what was in my control. Growing up, it was weightlifting. I would train and do sports, and I would put all my energy. When I found Door to Door,
Right.
I just put all my energy into that.
It, yeah.
And then it just shifted, and then I just kind of for a while meandered a little. But I'd say my biggest person that I really resonate with, gosh,
Who is it? Who is it?
I'd have to say that the biggest person who I think had an impact on me that's in like the mainstream viewpoint was Casey Neistat.
Okay, I don't even know who that is.
So Casey Neistat, he's based in New York. He's a vlogger, photographer, films commercials, and well, he does a lot of short stories.
Maybe I think I've seen his he makes commercials for like big companies like Coca-Cola
Nike.
and stuff.
He had a big Nike commercial. That's how he got
I
into the
think
scene.
a lot of them he's made the commercials for them without even being paid.
Yes.
And then eventually they hired him and paid
Yeah.
him. I think
Yeah.
I've seen that
People
guy.
like thought it was the official thing, and then Nike ended up like buying the rights to the ads, and then like getting behind him, and it was like he started all he knew is he wanted to be in film, and everyone was against him doing it.
Right.
And he just started making short films, and again,
got
like,
better.
time after time, it just over a period of time, just doing small little things that built his ability, and his confidence snowballed, right? And now he's like just one of the top YouTubers in history for like just content creation.
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
I think
This stuff's pretty good actually. I watched some of this stuff.
he's a very positive person.
Yeah.
Great message. And I think that's why I was always lured to him. It wasn't the entrepreneurial. It was just that I felt like he had so much energy that came from a limitless place.
Right.
And it was like, this guy, I don't see him ever stop doing what he's doing. So I really,
Figured it out.
I like that alignment. I seek that alignment in like people that I look up to.
Yeah.
Like I like to see that in the creative too.
It's good.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up. But before we do, any last minute things you want to say? Anything you want to talk about before we just boom? Or you could even speak to the camera directly if you want. Not to put you on the spot, but I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah. Gosh. So I don't really have any. Maybe you could give me a little direction, or I have a quote that I like.
Yeah. Do your quote.
I mean, it's just real simple. It's a quote from my dad. I put it on my bio for most things.
Yeah.
Don't live a life that's complicated. Live a life that's complex. So, the biggest thing he always said is like, don't be mindful. You are who you surround yourself with, right? And so like, don't surround yourself with people who, because when you have a complicated life, it's you're contradicting yourself. You're you say one thing, you do another. You complicate your life by not being truthful, not being accountable, by not being clear on your goals, not being clear on how do you feel, what's really going on, and who are you spending your time with. And so adding that intentionality, but then also like, don't limit yourself. Don't think about yourself as, I'm an accountant, I'm a salesperson, I'm this, I'm that. Don't identify yourself with one thing. Understand that like you are like millions of pieces of tons of different things in the world. And having a complex life is to embrace like, hey, I love math, but I love art. I love music. I could learn how to make a little bit of music. I could learn how to dance, but I could also be a stock trader. I could also be, just really embrace the complexities and give yourself the grace to just kind of go through the moments and be. You can only do the best that you have in the moment. So the best you can do in the moment is the best that you can do, and that is enough. And like
Right.
just know that at the end of the day that you did your best that you could give, and your best today might not be as good as it was yesterday, but just continue that.
Yeah.
So
All right, Austin, all done. Thanks for being on the podcast. Appreciate you being on.
thanks for having me, bro.
Okay,
This is
follow
awesome.
Austin. I'll put his Instagram somewhere in the bio here.
It never ends.
It never ends.